Thank you, Ryan, for pointing out you couldn't hear anything. All right, so let's get started by saying thanks for joining. And a really interesting philosophy that's relevant was we're going to focus on today how to build and create and sell a successful and profitable online course. And it's really topical at the moment because in the last half an hour, I've been listening on the radio to how people were saying that all supermarket shopping is going to go online and we're all going to buy it online. And of course, realistically, we're not all going to buy it online, but there's a shift in thinking happening in the market. There's all online is the big topic. So we want to look at how you can use your IP or material that you have and look to sell that online. So the first philosophy I want to share with you is that everything you need or anybody needs is available online now, either through YouTube or it's given away. So there's absolutely no reason why anyone would pay you or I to do the course unless they think that you have collated the material better than they can. So this is what they're buying. They're buying your collation of the material and they're buying your insight and your take on it because it's all available out there and the best content is free, but people don't want to spend time going through YouTube and putting it together and finding out what information is good and what isn't. So that's our job as a course creator. If we do that and spend the time and invest in putting together a course and collating it, then this is where our money machine starts, because I love the theory that a business is not a business unless you can be taken out of the equation and the business will still make money. So this is where the online delivery method is just the fundamental of getting smart with our IP, getting smart with the way we deliver our material so we can have the revenue coming in and through the machine. So that's the fundamental thing. So we're looking to collate and collect the material, or you may already have amazing material, but one of the fundamentals in building a good course is doing the plan, and we'll touch on that in a moment. There's a planning tool. But another thing in building a course is there's a strategy that a mentor has taught, is that you just get really clear about what your content is or what your purpose is and what you want to deliver, and then you invest in other online programs and YouTube and just do a lot of study and make sure you know your niche really well and the material is there, and it's just a matter of collating it and putting together your take on it, and that's what people are buying because it's all out there. So that's the philosophy about online and courses and how you collate your material to be able to sell. So that's the initial overview. The other strategy is, and we'll get at looking at the technology options, that's the focus of today, but just talking about philosophies at the moment. And the other thing is, if you're clear about you want to build an online program, then you get clear about the purpose of it. And this is the trend in marketing and the online space. If you're really driven by purpose and clear about your purpose, as an example, the Unboxed performance purposes around making work fun and with use of technology and making it easy, making work easy. That's if you're really clear about what your purpose is, and then you use that in all your marketing and communication, then that's the first thing that engages people. Because with an online program, we want to get it to go either viral or build up a referral network. I mean, there's a whole strategy around using online advertising, but the clever people in terms of the online space are building a referral network. So who in your space could be a referral source for you? So in terms of building this course, it's getting really clear about the purpose of what you're going to deliver, and then looking at the outcomes. It's the second part. What are the outcomes that you want to deliver, and what specifically are you going to put together? So once you've got that initial planning phase done, then it is a matter of then planning the content. And then, as I briefly said before, you can, if you haven't got the content, you're busy, go away and do the research and get all the content together. But here is another fundamental shift in thinking. Don't spend 6 months building this thing. Spend 2 weeks putting the plan together and creating the first week's module. And then you sell it, you turn up the selling machine, and that's either through online advertising or your referral source. If you're really clear about what you're offering and what the program is and what they get, you don't need to build the thing yet other than the first week. And you say there's a series of weeks that are, so you're drip fed. So you have the first week ready, you then sell it, and you really test the market, make sure that you can sell it, or else contact your clients. If you've already got a database, contact them all and make sure that they're willing to buy. So you test and validate the market. And then you haven't spent 6 months building this thing that never goes anywhere. So that's the first thing. You can do that within a number of weeks if you're really clear about your plan, and then take it to market, and then you have the money coming in to justify it. So that's the starting point in the planning phase of really getting market validation and setting up the network. So that's the initial background in terms of your planning phase. Once you're really clear about what you're going to offer, and then what your purpose is and the outcomes, and you've started marketing, decided on your channel, whether you're going to, who's going to be your referral partners and who has a database that can promote your online program, and who in the industry, whether it be, if it's a business product, are accountants your core market? Are you going to then set up an affiliate program so they get a slice of the pie, so to speak? So setting up those things are the initial. Then it's looking at the technology. If you're clear about the plan, and then the technology is a fascinating one, because you can do it for free using existing technology, as I've done in a previous post, or you can invest in some sophisticated learning management systems, which we'll call an LMS. It's entirely over to you. Let's go into the strategy behind that, or the rationale behind which way you go. Well, it depends on what your budget is, whether you have a budget, and it also depends on what your long-term outcomes are and what your objectives are. So the two sides of the spectrum are, if we look at the free versus paid, well, the free way is to use a shared folder in either G Suite or Office 365, or in Facebook. You set up a group which you only let people in that have paid for your program. So those are the simple options. And if you're still doing market validation and you're selling and promoting it, you spend all your time in making sure you've got something that's going to bring in revenue, then that is a simple way of just starting by having one of those groups. And then as soon as anyone pays, you just add them to your group. And that's really a good, solid starting point, so that you're putting your effort on the things that matter. Because if you want to have a highly profitable course, you've got to sell it, or you've got to build up that referral partners to sell it. And that is the key part. Or a lot of success can be in Facebook marketing, as long as you have the conversion strategy right, which is a really successful way. If you have the plan right, you're really clear about your outcomes and your purpose, and then you capture that, then you drive people to a landing page, offer them a free module or two, and then once you get them into the funnel, so to speak, you've got their email address, because they're doing well, if you're using the automated method, that is, then you've got the email address, they're doing a free initial couple of modules, and then you can market to them and get them addicted if your materials is good, as it potentially should be, if you follow the strategy talked of earlier to really scour the market and make sure you are the leader in your field, and make sure that you position yourself as a leader. Then you can really get them with a freemium model, get them started with a initial free course, and then as the upsell and get them addicted, and I was going to say gagging for more. So that is using the minimal viable product, just having a free setup. Well, I've jumped to an automated story of a free course, but I'm just talking in general now about the free technology options. We don't have to spend any money, and you can run a program, and you can then get revenue coming in. So before we get onto the paid versions, I just want to talk about the difference between a membership site or a membership platform and an online course. Online course, they pay this amount of money and they get access and they're away. and whether it be a Facebook group or just a shared folder in your network or your drive, then they pay that money, they get access. A membership site is where you or they pay, whether it be $25 a month, $100 a month is one that I haven't joined, but the one that I follow is $100 a month. It's a productivity group around technology. So for $100 a month, they're regularly putting in productivity and technology tips. And of course, if you've got 100 people paying $100 a month, that starts to add up to be pretty solid revenue. Even just 20 people obviously paying $100 a month starts to add up as a decent starting point for building your business. So membership sites are really good if you're committed to the content and you really want to be constantly adding new content and have that commitment. The one I like, and I haven't joined it, he has a team of people in the Philippines that are doing some interesting stuff, and he regularly does a lot of content. So I would very tempted to pay my $100 to be getting the latest updates in the markets. But that's how a membership site works. And with Facebook, there is, remember a year ago, it was more than a year ago, Facebook introduced the option of you can charge a monthly subscription for your Facebook group. So there's automation there to be able to generate revenue from a membership site. So that's a membership site, as opposed to the other is we're selling a course. And I'll start sharing the screen and look at some options there that we can talk about. Before I go to that though, we want to explain a philosophy. There's the different technology that we've gone into the Facebook Live. Let's just go to the screen. Okay, so we want to talk about the different technology options, and assuming we've decided we're not going to do the free option, or we may have done the free option for a number of months and we've validated the market, we've got paying customers, and we want to really automate it and take it to the next level. We've got two main options in your technology. You've got a system that you own as opposed to a system you rent. And if we think of it like a house, depending where you live, you either maybe own a house or you rent it. So if you own your house, there's quite an initial investment. You've got to build the thing, or else you've got to buy it. And then there's rates and there's ongoing expenses for your house. So, but you have total ownership. You can then knock a wall down, or you can do whatever within reason, as long as you're nice to the friendly council people. And then as opposed to if you're renting, you have much less control. There's not an upfront cost. There's no big investment on building a sophisticated site. You just pay your monthly or weekly, and then you get a platform that does it for you. So that's the analogy between the two main options I'm going to look at now. So let's start off with on screen is LearnDash. This is a plugin that is where you have full ownership. How it works is it works with a WordPress. It's a WordPress plugin. So it operates as, you can set this up yourself. I mean, we specialize in this area, but it's something that if you're good with technology, you can just add this LearnDash plugin to your WordPress site, and then you all of a sudden have one of the most amazing and powerful selling and course delivery machines. LearnDash 3.0, which we're looking at here, is broken ahead of all the others in the market now. And so it's an easy way of if you love the technology, doing it yourself, and you can have a powerful learning management system on your domain name because it's based on your website using the same domain name. A couple of recommendations though, if you're doing it and you're depends on your long-term outcomes, where you're heading and how big you want it, you would probably put it onto a subdomain. That is, if it's going to be a big site, you could have, say, login. If you can see what I'm typing at the top, it might be login.learndash or whatever your domain name is. And how it can be set up is people don't know that it's not the same site, but effectively it's a different site, but it's integrated on your menus options, so nobody knows that they're going to a different site. So it's just looks like your own site, but it's got a slightly different URL at the top on the subdomain. The reason suggest a subdomain is if you're getting to a really serious, like with LearnDash, you can have 20,000 users and or bigger. They can some massive LearnDash sites, but it puts a bit of a strain if there's a lot of concurrent users and somebody else is wanting to jump on your site to see your latest exciting updates on your landing page, and we don't want to slow down your core site. So a subdomain is the recommended if you're really looking big. Otherwise, if you just want to get started, you can just add the WordPress plugin to your current setup and you're away and you've got a really powerful online system. Drawbacks with it is you have to understand the technology, or you have to pay somebody like our company to do that. And you may not want to invest in that. You might want to just get started, like the rental. We're not going to rush out and buy our first house probably when we're 16. We may want to start with something that is already built for us. And let's look at that option. And that is, we're going to look at Kajabi. And the reason this is a very good option is that it's a setup. It's a great functionality and a great setup, which basically it's a full online marketing machine. It's a full website. So you would probably not have your own website. This would be your website. It would be your marketing automation. So it has all the smarts that really run your business. It has landing pages. It has a lot of really good features. So you can order this. This is Steve Lowell uses this as an example. And so you can get it set up without anybody's help. You can just do it yourself. And I mean, you can get technical advice if you need it, but this is a great option if you're serious about having a really robust, onto a powerful machine that you don't have to have a upfront investment, and it has all the power. And if you're not so technically inclined, this is a great option because it's robust and it's a good setup which you can use straight away. You just have to learn how to use it. Disadvantage, if you compare it to say LearnDash, is if you want to do some really phenomenal online marketing techniques or strategies, then you're limited sometimes in these platforms and there is some restrictions. So it just depends where you want to go. If you want the ultimate selling machine, that's where WordPress is so powerful, because you can find a plugin that will do virtually anything you could ever dream of to change the whole functionality of your WordPress site. So it just depends whether you want sort of the Rolls Royce with all the bells and whistles and the complete power, which does involve a bit of extra investment to maintain it probably, unless you're very good technically yourself and can do it all. So that is really the main difference between that and those sort of options. And I did a blog this morning on comparing these options, and I'll just pull that up to look at some other options to Kajabi. And it depends, like Kajabi is really, I mean, you pay a bit more for this compared to the other options. If you want to look at something you can just jump into and that can manage your online program now. If we look at the pricing of that, and while that's loading, I'll just go to the blog post here on our site. And okay, here we go. So I'll load that and we'll jump back into the pricing of Kajabi. So there is cheaper options, but of course you get what you pay for here. You're getting a full business online marketing machine here, and you're actually getting a website, so you're not going to have your own separate website. So priced fairly for what you get, because if you're getting into the online space and wanting to market online programs, you're likely to want a Autoresponder, which is an email marketing platform with your landing pages and to capture people and to send out messages when people have completed their course. And so the advantage of this, it's all built in, as opposed to with LearnDash, there is a few different options in WordPress that you have that will mean you can, it depends on what marketing automation software you want, and you can customize it and ultimately have some incredible power, but it's just obviously where you're naturally what you enjoy, whether you want the most powerful or just something that does the job. All right, so here's a blog post just at unboxdigital.co.nz comparing the different technology platforms. Just did a video there about the free options. So these are the best online course platforms in my view. So LearnDash is at number one if you want the most powerful. Citizens Advice Bureau, it's the person in Wellington who created their LearnDash site. And the reason they did it, use LearnDash, because they didn't have a big budget to invest in a corporate LMS. So LearnDash is effectively a corporate LMS. If you're selling your courses to businesses, you can do some amazing things there, which none of these others do. They're not really corporate LMSs. And so they wanted all those features, but the IT manager in Wellington didn't want to have a custom built. So he just got LearnDash and he knew a bit about WordPress and put it all together. And the Citizen Advice Bureau have got an amazing site. There's many other things like some universities and various people that use LearnDash. So it's a really powerful option. Kajabi here, I've mentioned that. There's a few other options like Learn Worlds. It's a nice platform. Podia, if I can pronounce that right, I struggle with that word. And I put here as the fifth option is Udemy. Udemy is a completely different platform for selling courses. Basically, they have a massive number of people on the site and they take a significant amount of the revenue, but they find traffic for you. And the courses tend to be quite low cost. Not the, I'd imagine, knowing some of the people on this call here, we'd be looking to sell our course for $1,000 and, or certainly in the $300 bracket. So we're not in the low end of the market. So we want complete control. Some of these, like Kajabi and these other options, they do take a slice of the revenue. So I just put that in as an alternative way. A couple of well-known platforms are Teachable and Thinkific. Just these here, I'll just hit on those two for a brief look at them. They're also quite well respected, Thinkific. And the challenge with them, and the reason why I didn't put them in my top 5, is that they're both really similar in that they don't have a marketing automation built in. So if I'm going to rent a space for my online programs, I'm going to want something that's simple, powerful, and has everything built in. Whereas with Thinkific, you still have to plug in marketing automation. It's the same with Teachable. If I go back to Teachable, much the same. Pricing, they have some quite competitive in that they offer a free option just to get started. So they're very smart, just like we would suggest for you, that you offer a free course to lure people into your net so you can get them excited about how amazing your content is and then upsell them. And Teachable is similar. Their pricing model, I'll just have a look at, show you their pricing. Again, they have a free option and I know a lot of people use them, but it just depends where you want to be. It's, if you want, so you get started, let's Thinkific have a free plan, whereas Teachable now, they don't have their free plan anymore. So you're still, depending on what you want, if you want to take away their branding and have custom domains, you're looking at $99 to get a more serious where they don't take the 5% transaction fee. Just an example, a customer that deal with, you've got a $1,200 online program and they're using this at the moment. But of course, 5% of $1,200 is a reasonable chunk. So they're very keen on going to LearnDash to have control and to do some more advanced marketing there. So it just depends where you're at on the course creation life cycle, and then obviously what technology, what budget, as to whether you're going to rent your platform or own it. So those are the main things I was going to go through, other than if you wanted ideas on creating content or questions. So open it up. If anybody has any questions, then either ask away or else put it in chat. I'll just check the chat now. I might just show you a template for creating content. Unless there's any other questions, I'll just pull it up. While I wait for you to percolate all those thoughts or questions. No such thing as a dumb question. So just pulling up the template now, and then I'll share the, I haven't actually, all right, I'll share the screen just to look at a template for creating a course. All right, we have a question. Just while we're, great question. All right. So Citizen Advice Bureau is a example of a user. So I'll go back to sharing screen. And good question. Thanks, Terry. All right. You can view a demo from the site. Here's some of examples of people that use LearnDash, University of Florida, Infusionsoft, some quite well-respected names. The reason why LearnDash, if we're looking at some bigger businesses, it covers as a corporate LMS, because the other option is you can pay $100 a month to get a corporate LMS, which there's a lot of different options there, and they all have, they're great if you're having in-house training for your staff, and or if you're selling it to customers and you're invoicing them, then you don't need the automation. So that is another option. That's a good question. All right, might jump to, just double check these questions, and then go to show you a worksheet for planning content, which I can share. If people want a worksheet to help them develop something, then I can share that. But let's look at this one. I haven't looked at it recently. So this, I mean, it's just a very simple template where you plan out the program needs, learning objectives, course lessons, and whether you use a quiz. So these are questionnaires. So it's really good practice to, after a module, you have a questionnaire, a survey, a quiz, which is generally, if you make it multi-choice, then it means that you can get the results automated without having to mark it, as opposed to with LearnDash, you can also ask people to submit an assignment, and by putting that assignment in, then it goes to the teacher who marks it and then manually does it. But generally it's just online and automated quizzes so that you check validation. And particularly if you're doing blended learning, which is quite common, whereby if you're a trainer who's running a program normally face-to-face, you might put half of it into online learning, and you're just to save a bit of time having to go through everything. So I know that with a 2-day program that somebody was running, they're moving to making it 1 day now and doing half of it online, whereby they go through the quiz, the content, and learn the content, do the quiz or the test to check that they've got the answers, and then they are validated or got evidence that they are passing. All right. Unless there's other questions, we might leave it at that. Just check. There is, yes, that was a good question, Terry. There's a lot of different examples in the LearnDash site and I've got a demo site that I've created, and as well, we've got a few LearnDash sites that we've set up. But one's an excellent demo if you want to have a play with a LearnDash site. All right, so that was the content. So if there's no more questions, I'll say, oh yeah, we've got, oh no, I thought there was a question. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate the question and the opportunity to talk, I suppose. We've got some, so thank you everybody. Signing off, and the recording will be in the group. So thank you everybody. I hope you have an amazing Friday wherever you are. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you.